Sometimes you got to turn off distraction. I'm talking about the distraction of your mind, the distraction of the people around you, the distraction of the workplace, the distraction of friends, the distraction of family. Sometimes when you hear all of this chatter going on from all of these different avenues, it tends to cloud your mind and your judgment, and so much so to the point that you can't even think straight. Like that vision that you once had, it was so perfect. It was so clear. You had it all figured out. You knew, like, this is what I need to do. It was laid out before you. And then the next thing you know, you find yourself surrounded by all of these different things that is coming together to distract you ultimately. And not saying that everything is an intentional distraction, because some things just happen, like it's life. But still, all in all, we have to come to understand that even the slightest thing can be the biggest distraction and can cloud your vision, can cloud your dream, can cloud your judgment, can cloud everything that it is that you're striving and working so hard for. And you have to turn off that distraction and get back into your word. Get back into that secret place, that intimate place with the Father. Get back into listening and hearing his voice, waiting for his word, allowing him to speak to your mind and the calmness of your mind. Because when things are so chaotic and so full of energy around you, right? Because we know that energy just moves. It's all around us. And so whether that be good or bad energy, it surrounds us whether we like it or not. And so we want to channel into that good energy, right? That positive energy, the word that's going to feed us, that's going to nourish us, that's going to help us to grow, that's going to help us to see clear, to hear clear, to think clear. And the only clarity is coming from that time spent with the Father. And so you might be walking around and wondering, like, why am I so stressed out? What is happening? I'm losing my hair. I can't understand. Everything was so clear to me 5 minutes ago. What had happened? It's distraction. Okay? 9 times out of 10, it is the distractions in your life that is not allowing you to hear him clearly. And so it starts to confuse you. It starts to aggravate you. It starts to overwhelm you. You start to think more about the circumstance and the situation and the things that you're going through more than you are on his purpose. And if you can remember a time when you was just living for his will, right? And you was completely in his will, completely in his purpose, doing exactly what it is that he was calling you to do, you ain't have no worries. It wasn't even a question. It wasn't even any sort of aggravation going on in your life. Everything was just so ease. It was comfortable. It was just like, whoo, I could do this forever. And then within a blink of an eye, you look up and you realize that it's so much happening. Like, what had happened, Father? I thought I was on the right path. I thought that I had this thing. And so before you even realize it and before you even know it, distraction has crept into your life and has started to create this fabrication of what your life is and what your life should be. And instead of following your dreams and your purpose and your vision, you begin to follow this voice of distraction. And it begins to slowly get you off course of what it is that the Father is trying to do in your life. And so we just got to get away from that distraction. Put it away. Put away that distraction. And, I'm speaking to myself because since I have been in Africa, it's been like just one challenge after another. Because first of all, I'm in a whole nother country and I'm learning new things. I'm learning the culture here. I'm learning the language here. And so it's just so much that goes into just my daily life that it has become a distraction in a way that is louder than the voice of the Father, and where his voice once was so amplified. It was so amplified that I just seen so clear. I heard so clear. I was able to think so clear. And that was in the midst of me preparing to even come to Ghana. And then so when I get here, I find myself struggling to find my way, struggling to hear his voice, struggling to understand which way I should go, which route I should take. Should I go or should I wait? Everything just became a struggle, and I had to take a step back, and I'm just like, what is happening here? What am I missing? What am I not seeing? What am I not getting, Father? And it was in that moment that I separated myself from the chaos, separated myself from the distraction, separated from myself from just feeling the need to engulf myself in learning, familiarizing myself with this new environment that I am in that I didn't even realize. It started to become bigger than me. It started to become bigger than my dreams. It started to become bigger than his voice. It started to become bigger than his word, because it was like that became more important. Learning the culture, understanding the culture, learning the language, intermingling with the people, right? And so it was like that became like more important, because I'm just like, okay, I'm here now. I got to get this thing. I got to learn this culture. And that became my driving force. And I didn't even realize that the Father slowly but surely was fading to the background. And it's so dangerous when we're not self-conscious of our spirituality, when we're not self-conscious of hearing his voice, of understanding his voice when it's bold, and knowing when he speaks. Because when you have that understanding, and you have that understanding of spirituality, when you begin to become disconnected from that, you feel it like immediately. It's not even, it don't take a week, a month, years. Like immediately you feel something's off in your sensors. You feel something is off. Like, whoa, wait a minute. What's going on? Like, I just don't feel like myself. What's happening here? And so immediately you're able to take a step back and reevaluate and reassess the situation to understand what's happening. Because so quickly you can just spiral out of control, and before you know it, you're flying downhill and you don't even realize it until, boom, you crash. And so I'm just so grateful and so thankful that the Father has just made me so spiritually sensitive that the slightest thing that's off about anything concerning my spirituality, concerning my relationship with the Father, I notice it. And immediately I'm back in his face like, okay, what I need to do? I'm sorry. If I need to apologize, if I need to repent, if I need to pray more, if I need to fast more, if I need to get him your word more, what am I doing? Because I know what it feels like to not be in his presence. I know what it feels like to not be in his will. I know what it feels like to worry. I know what it feels like when your situation and your circumstances is so overwhelming that it's overtaking you. I know what those things feel like. And so I don't ever want to feel that again. All right? Because I had several long months of preparing to come here to Ghana. And I will say absolutely that during those 7 long months, I was secluded. I was in his word. I was praying. I had no distraction because I wasn't around anybody. I was single. The only people I had as my source of distraction was my kids. And that's to a minimal. Because, you just tell the kids, sit down somewhere. And they're going to go sit down somewhere and you get a peace of mind. At least if it's even for 5 minutes. And so I didn't have these different things to worry about. And so now here I am in Ghana and with my other half, my better half, my, who the Father has given me. And so that's an adjustment. And then not only that, but now I have to deal with just adjusting to life here in Ghana. And so it's a lot, and it becomes a big distraction in a short period of time. And so I had to take a step back. And I had to reassess the situation and see where I was going wrong so that I can correct the situation, because I was like, I cannot afford to continue down this path of just chaos, of just craziness in my mind, just thinking about, oh my gosh, Father, I need this and I need that. And how am I going to do this? And how am I going to get through that? And just so much at one time that I just was like, I was ready to rip my hair out. It was so much. And he's just so faithful. He's so faithful and he's so true. And he just is, y'all. He just is. And so I'm just grateful for this channel. I'm grateful for my tribe. I'm grateful for the family that we have established here. To all the new subscribers, I see y'all subscribing. Welcome to the tribe. And I hope that we continue to grow. And the Father continues to use me. And the Father continues to speak through me. And I pray and I pray and I pray that the busier my life gets, the more sound my mind becomes. And that's going to be my number one prayer moving forward, because I don't want my life to become so busy that I forget about Him, that I forget about praying, that I forget about reading the Word. Not that I have forgotten those things, but I don't ever want to. I never want to get to the point of forgetting those things. And I always want to remember that we have to keep the Father first in everything that we do. So the higher that He puts us in life and the higher that He elevates us, the higher we have to elevate Him, right? And the higher we become, the more we should diminish ourselves within ourselves, right? So society tends to put us on this pedestal, but we have to quickly take ourselves down. Like, that ain't the place for me. I don't belong on that pedestal, because the only person that belongs on that pedestal is the Father. He's the only person that belongs on that pedestal. And we are just mortal humans who are just so blessed to be used by Him to fulfill His will on this earth. That's all. Just so humbly human, right? We just so humbly human. And so my daughter just came home from school. So you hear her chit-chatting away, because that's what she loves to do. Yes, my daughter. And so she just got home from school, and so she's just chit-chatting in the background. And you know, when the Father gives you a word, He gives you a spare of the moment word sometimes, and you just got to give it. When He and I've been guilty of this, y'all. I have been so guilty of this, because He's been giving me like right now words, and I'd be like, you know what? I'm going to get to it. Let me just finish handling this. Let me just finish cooking. Let me just finish cleaning. Let me just finish taking care of the baby. Whatever it is I'm doing in that moment. Let me just finish, and I'm going to get back, and I'm going to give this word. And then as time goes by, the day done went by, I look up, it's like 3 hours later, and I done forgot what He told me. You know, even if I put it in my notes, like I'm going to just put it in my notes. I'm going to leave it right here, and I'm going to come back to it when I'm done. And then I'll come back to it, and I'll read like just the title, and I'll be like, man, what was the message? I got the title, but what was the message? And so in this new season of my life, I'm learning to give the word right now. So if you hear chatter in the background, or you hear the baby talking, or a dog barking, or the neighbors yelling, I don't know, because I don't know when He's going to speak. But just know that whenever He gives me a word, and I'm just making this promise to myself, whenever He gives a word, I'm just coming on and I am doing a video and I'm speaking a word that He gave me to speak. Because if I don't, I've come to find that the word is long gone. It's just gone. And then I'm sitting around wondering, like, Father, why you ain't speaking to me? I ain't making videos the way I used to. Like when I was back in the States, it was, you were speaking left and right, one video after another. Sometimes it was 3-4 videos in a day. What's happening? It's a drought. And He said, no, it ain't a drought. I've been speaking, but you just been brushing me off. I've been speaking, but you just been blowing me off. I've been speaking, but you just figured I'll get to it later. And He's like, no, not so. When I give you a word, it's to speak that word right then and there. I don't care what's going on in your background. And if y'all been with me since the beginning of when my video started, y'all know that when I started, one of my testimonies was that I thought the videos had to be perfect. I thought it had to be a perfect background with a perfect layout, with the perfect lighting, and my hair had to be done and just perfect. And He had to deal with me with that and was just like, not so, because in reality, things ain't perfect. In fact, most of the times it's the total opposite. So it don't gotta be perfect. And that's something that He had to deal with me in the beginning. So now fast forward to today in my current season. And He's like, don't quench my word. I don't care what's happening in the background. Guess what? My people got to understand, because you speaking a word regardless of what's happening around you, regardless of Whether somebody in the midst of trying to have a conversation with you, when I speak a word, you dismiss yourself, excuse yourself from that conversation real quick and do a video. Even if it's a 5-minute video, even if it's a 10-minute video, 11-minute video, whatever it is. When I'm giving this quick rhema word, I want you to give this quick rhema word. And so it hasn't been a drought, y'all. It hasn't been a drought. It hasn't been that he hasn't been speaking. It's just that I've been putting him on the back burner because I've been more focused on, let me focus on life and I'll get to the Father later. By saying later, I mean in the sense that, you know, whatever's going on at the moment is more important than what he's saying to me. And so I'm changing that, y'all. I'm not perfect. We ain't perfect. And I hope that everybody that's joining this tribe is not declaring to be perfect, because we are not. We can strive for perfection. We can try to be the best possible humans on earth that we can be, but we will never be perfect. We will always fall short. So I won't beat myself up about not recording videos right away. I won't beat myself up about not giving a word right then and there. I won't beat myself up about telling him I'm going to do it later, because we are all guilty of that. We are all guilty of it. But the most important thing is to realize what you are doing. To realize that you're putting him on the back burner. To realize that you're no longer making him the forefront. To realize that when he speaks, you ain't listening right away. And to understand that we make mistakes. We only human. And I think the moment that we begin to realize that we're only human, it takes like a load off of us. It takes a load off of our shoulders, and it starts to, in a sense, bring us to reality, right? That, okay, I can make a mistake. Okay, I'm not always on point. Okay, I might not always say the right thing. Okay, I could have handled that person differently. I could have said that differently. Right? Instead of always trying to be perfect. Instead of always trying to make pretend that we just these perfect people in this perfect world, and nobody make a mistake and everything's all grand and everything's all glorious. And I think a lot of times for, TV personalities, celebrities, people like me who are doing YouTube, it's always like this persona that we have to be this perfect individual, these perfect people, that we have to do things right every time, that we have to get things right every time, that we have to say the right things every time. And that's not reality. Because when you take a step away from the camera and it's camera off, you begin to see the world for what it is, and nothing in the world is perfect other than what the Father has created. Right? And so your image of yourself is perfect. You're beautiful. Right? Your skin complexion's beautiful. The body that he's blessed you with is beautiful. The family that he's graced you with is amazing. The job that he's allowed you to have is perfect. These things are perfect, but in all, us humans, we're not perfect. We make mistakes. And it's okay to make a mistake, but it's not about making a mistake, but it's about rectifying that mistake. It's about knowing that you made a mistake and coming back and saying, you know what? I made a mistake. I'm sorry. Even if you apologizing to yourself, because nobody else was privy to the fact that you made a mistake. But even when you know that you made a mistake, apologize to yourself. Apologize to the Father. But just don't dismiss it and act like, oh, okay, I made a mistake. Anyway, let me keep on doing what I was doing. It's a mistake. All right, I did it once. I might as well continue on in it. Don't continue on in it. Don't do that. If you make a mistake, acknowledge your mistake. And I don't even know what I'm talking about, because this is so totally off topic. This is so totally off topic. But that's what he does, right? Especially since I haven't been giving these rhema words. So he like, I got you right where I wanted you. Now I can talk. So he's just giving his message, y'all. But no one is perfect. And the moment that as a society we realize that no one is perfect, I think that we can see lower suicide rates. I think that we can see people's self-esteem begin to rise. I think that we can see the confidence level of individuals begin to rise. I think that the decisions that we make in life begin to become perfectly imperfect. And so I pray that you guys are having an amazing day, morning, afternoon, wherever you guys are in the world. And I will see y'all on the next video.